Good evening mga kalaro and welcome to the Council of Titos, the show on the Laro-Laro channel where Sportitos talk about a different kind of game, the reality TV game show and social experiment that has run for over 2 decades, Survivor. I'm Chief Bisdak Joel Parcon, and with me as always is Vice Chief Bisdak Jao Atienza. What's up, Jao? How are you doing?
Hi, I was completely blindsided.
Ooh, we will talk about that. Tonight, mga kalaro, the Council takes a look at episode 4 of season 43 of Survivor, entitled
Show No Mercy.
Show no mercy.
Show No Mercy. Show No Mercy.
Show no mercy.
Show No Mercy. And I, for one, think that the title was actually very apt for the episode that we saw. Don't you think so?
Yes, it was actually. I was on so many levels, right?
On so many levels. That's true. Well, anyway, let's get right into it. Let's of course, start with our highs. What are some of your highs, Joe?
Cody.
Cody.
Straight up Cody.
Mm-hmm.
The whole season is coming in Cody. Like, I know that Martin calls him the ass man, but I think we should just start calling him the man. Like the producers are paying off his comments about being a salesperson,
Mm-hmm.
and like the whatever stereotypes that might come with it, because his negotiation with Coco was just pretty much straight out of a Zig Ziglar book. For anybody that does sales, like, who Zig Ziglar is. But it was pretty much straight out of like how to negotiate kind of book, right? Like where you start high,
Mm-hmm.
and if you start high, people will try to haggle you down to the thing that you do want to get.
Yeah.
And another like good negotiation tactic is deferring to somebody else. So even if you're the one ultimately making the decision, in a negotiation, you always defer to, I still have to ask like my partners, or I still have to ask my boss, I still have to ask, somebody else before the decision can ultimately be made. Even if that's a complete lie, at least like you still have perhaps a little bit more time if you say like, in a boardroom setting or whatever, I still have to talk to my boss. I'll get back to you tomorrow, so you can get a little bit of extra time. Or in the case of Cody, he managed to sort of deflect blame in a way, or like diffuse the blame, so it wasn't all of the heat being on him, but it was sort of spread. The heat was kind of spread throughout the tribe. For anybody that's into StarCraft, it's like a Mutalisk hit that goes like bouncing to different like Marines or something. Like, there's a little bit of that spread of damage that isn't concentrated on Cody. So like that was seeing that payoff was pretty good. It's still not going to make up for losing Justine, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think that. Imagine what would have happened if they had 2 salespeople on the tribe remaining, right? That would have been. They probably would have been more dominant in more inter-tribe negotiations and relations, which we saw a lot of in this episode, right? But yeah, I agree. Well, Cody, and on top of Cody coming out as like a favorite, or an early like a star, if we could call him a star. It seems that 4 is the magic number for things to turn around for tribes, because now we've got 4 in Vezi, and they're now the Vezi 4. Right?
Huh.
Granted that Noelle is probably still in the bottom, right, on the outs in that tribe, but it seems as if
she has a steal vote though, so
yeah,
like
okay,
it may appear as though she is on the outs, but
like
she
in terms of social,
its head.
In the social structure, she's not really with the other 3 as much. She's not as connected, because her only connection, Justine, was voted off, right? With Dwight, she doesn't really have. It does seem as if they're trying to build something there, that there's like that connection, especially after that previous vote where the divorce happened after
Yeah.
that, right? So Dwight was sort of siding more with Noel, but still, Noel is still like the odd person out. But yeah, I like the fact that we do have that, the Vezi 4, and then they won both the reward and the immunity challenge. That was pretty cool to see. We're not seeing like just one dominant tribe so far. Right? That
Yeah.
used to be Coco.
True.
Right?
What high? What's your first high?
My first time, yeah, actually, that was it. That was it. The fact that Vezi has sort of turned the corner. It seems that they're heading. Hopefully, they become more competitive now, especially
Mhm.
since they're more fueled. I guess they got the fruits.
They got
Uh,
the fishing gear.
they got the fishing gear. They got the root crops from Coco. Right? They have more fuel now. Hopefully, they'll keep on getting momentum and make this a competitive season and not be like weeded out slowly. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What
Um,
else on your side?
seeing the Jeff Probes of old is kind of like it's new to somebody that only started watching in the new era. Like looking back at watching previous seasons, seeing snarky Jeff is something like, oh, that isn't, but then seeing him come back and be snarky again now is it's pretty cool actually. The what was that line, like Dwight moving about as slow as possible but still be
but still
considered
moving.
moving or something like that. Like whoa, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good that Jeff. You know what? I think that Survivor might be listening to us. Right? We got the first episode with a lot of camp life. Now we're getting snarky Jeff. Right?
Can
They
it be
they
Survivor listening to the fans?
Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool? Right? And then they
He's not
feed.
breaking the fourth wall anymore. Like,
Yeah. So they're tweaking. They're tweaking as they go along. And I mean it's a testament to Survivor because they do know their fans. They do know their base, their fan base, and they want to keep that fan base. Uh yeah, and a lot of our insights are actually also mirrored by a lot of fans from all across the world, right? Yeah.
hmm. um, right.
Yeah. No, for me,
What?
another high for me. And I'll also get into this later a little bit more. Uh, I I I enjoyed the fact that Vessi helped out Baka at the immunity challenge.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. It was something for me. I don't. Again, I'm the guy whose memory is pretty bad when it comes to all of these things because I watch a ton of content, so I don't remember if that's ever happened before, where two tribes actually helped out each other to gang up on another tribe. For you guys, mga kalaro, those who are watching, if you know if it's happened before, hit us up in the comments. But for me, it was something new.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, one tribe helping another to make sure that the complete tribe is the one that goes to tribal, right?
Yeah. That was really cool seeing that. Like, oh, an added uh an added sort of level of strategy, like
Hmm.
additional depth of strategy to the game. But do you think they made the right call by helping Baka?
Baka, um, in the immediate, uh, in the interim, I would say that they did, because they needed to knock Coco down a peg. It was important, I would say, to take out take out a member of Coco. Uh, in the long run, it probably will paint a target on both tribes' backs. But yeah, for the short for the short term, it was for me a good strategy. What about you? What do you think?
Because there was the thought that was put out into the ether by one of the podcasts that it might not have been the best idea, since the tribe that comes in with the most people during the merge tend to fall apart, like historically. I don't know if it's like something completely new, like they haven't had to ever strategize, so like they're sort of running around like headless chickens come the merge, because they haven't had that experience of scrambling, they haven't had that experience of strategizing and building sort of meaningful alliances, because it's all kumbaya, right? And that could have been to their detriment in the merge, but that's neither here nor there. But speaking of like short-term, long-term stuff, while Cody did give a master class, that might have been bad for his long-term game, right? Because they might have realized, people in Coco might have realized, as Carla did,
yes,
that
they gave up too
Cody,
much.
yeah, and that Cody didn't initially,
yeah,
and the other members of Vessi didn't want to get the machete as Cody initially told them. So it's like, oh, that's pretty sketch if they like, if they manage to, start talking to Jesse, if they start talking to, like, in trying to build goodwill with Vessi, one of the Coco people goes up to them and is like, hey, we're sorry that we couldn't give you our machete. And, at least from what we saw in the episode, it appears as though that was purely Cody's idea. And we aren't even sure if he like debriefed the rest of Vessi, like, all right, so here's what I did. I went in and I said that we all wanted to get their machete, but they, gave up all of this instead of the machete. So like, if that wasn't something that they talked about, and if they didn't all get their story straight, that yeah, we asked for the machete, but we settled for less, that might be to the detriment of Cody's game. But
true,
we're still working with incomplete information
information. True, but that's true. If it is, it's important for that Cody needed to communicate what happened, because if he just goes back and like all like live in and stuff, doesn't really feel the need to communicate what he did. Yeah, you're right. It is going to paint him in a bad light. I mean, even though they don't know that he's a salesperson, none of them know yet, right? That he's a salesperson. All they know is that he's a guy from Hawaii.
Right? he's apparently he's not from Idaho either.
But he's like from rural America, right? Or something.
He's
like
from
that.
another one of those I states. I can't remember which one.
Okay, Iowa.
Maybe.
And then just went to Hawaii, but yeah, you're right. I think that you're right. It will be detrimental, and sooner or later, especially if word does get out that he is a salesperson, that's gonna what all of the things that he was saying about Justine, it's gonna be magnified when it hits back on him, because he's actually done something. Right. With Justine, there wasn't any proof that she ever used her salesperson skills to get ahead. But with Cody, you've got proof. But then again, if he gets to the final three, that might be ammunition for him. All right.
Definitely.
So yeah, this thing, the what this is, for me, it's an iconic moment. That raid, that tribal raid of Cody. If he gets to final if he gets to final tribal, this is gonna get brought up.
Yeah. And Cody's had a lot of really good moments. He's like the breakout star of this season.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, another white dude. Come on, really?
Yeah. But
okay,
it's in a different way, right? He's not dominating like Jonathan of last season, where like he was just the Hulk. This guy now is like very conniving, very like chill, right? But both are like beach dudes.
Like here I was though thinking that like the breakout star of the pre-merge was going to be what's his face, 19-year-old guy,
Sammy.
yeah, here I was thinking it was going to be Sammy, as another like as the what like the game that Xander was playing, but like multiplied by 10, you know, like that feels like the type of game that Xander wanted to play if he had the same circumstances, or the game that Xander would have played had he been given the same circumstances as Sammy in his tribe. So I was thinking like, oh, you know, yeah, another young white dude maybe, but then like, yeah, Cody, breakout star. I was thinking Cody was gonna be like one of those what was the name of that really weird dude that like walks up on mountains and does that like Christ Coach? The Redeemer thing? Yeah, Coach.
Coach,
yeah. You know, like
the dragon.
Yeah. Like one of those sort of uber eccentric, like, okay, this person is going to be voted out because he's like a weirdo, but like, you know, being like super strategic and not being weird, you know?
Yeah, someone like, else is showing up as uber eccentric to the point of getting really annoying to his tribe mates though, and that's Gabler. We'll talk. I'll talk about him. Yeah, Gabler in this episode. Poor Gabler. Anyway, what I did mention last episode, when on our previous episode on the council, that I did think also that Cody would be voted out fairly early, because he in the pre-show press, yeah, she did say he was going to play really hard, really early. And we all know that that's like a mortal sin for survivors to do that, to be too intense too early. But I think because of his personality, like the fact that he has that whole live-in thing, that live-in philosophy, even though he might be playing hard, people don't really feel it as much because he has this outward semblance of like just this, like, you know, I'm really just cool, like, you know, and everything. But the Coco people did kind of, I think, see through that. Right, they were, especially Carla, which is for me also very, very, very impressive that Carla was able to see through it. Again, I didn't really pick Carla out as someone who would actually get far in the season, but the fact that she is the one who saw that, or at least she was the one who had the testimonial about that, and that tells me that she might be the foil of Cody, which would be cool to see.
The first 4 episodes actually, like in the pre-game press, like, yeah, I would have agreed about Carla, but these first 4 episodes have shown her to be like the power player in Coco. More than any of the other ones.
Yeah. Actually, who's left? So we've got Cassidy. Not really. Ryan, who's just like a really nice guy. You've got Gio, who thinks a little too much of himself
on the outs.
Yeah. And you've got James, who just had a birthday. We don't really know much about him. Not until he goes on a journey.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do on your birthday? I'm gonna go look for an idol. Congratulations, you just signed your death warrant. And Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan. Ryan's just like a general. He's a nice guy. He's a nice dude. Like, so yeah, it is Carla. It is Carla that's showing up. I'm not sure. I'll talk about it in the latter sections and the other sections of the show. But Lindsay might have been also, but we never saw anything about Lindsay being anything big in the first 3 episodes to even warrant her being paranoid for this one. Right?
Yeah, she's she has what's his name? Romeo sort of vibes, where it's like Romeo is being paranoid and people are like, dude, he's being paranoid. But it's one of those it's one of those, like, what gets bigger the more you take away from it, a whole type things, where it's sort of
Mm.
self-defeating. It's sort of recursive in that way,
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
like, if you have reason to be paranoid, that gives you more reason to be paranoid.
Yeah.
Which is, what the show showed us was that she really didn't have reason to be paranoid, um, even though, like, she was saying that she was paranoid. In her exit press, she actually did mention that she did have some reason to be paranoid, but not enough.
Oh.
Yeah, like um, she did admit that, yeah, it was being a little bit too paranoid that
Mm-hmm.
got her kicked out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, she's it's if we're speaking in Tagalog, aminado naman siya. So,
Mm.
like, the show somewhat did justice to the reason, but didn't tell the story, didn't tell the whole story, which is, would have been nice if it were like a 2-hour episode. So
It would have been nice if we'd have like 1 hour episodes each week, but sadly we only got that for the first episode. Yeah, just really the first episode, right? The second
yeah,
episode they went back to 42.
they went.
Yeah.
Well, it was 2 hours, an hour and a half, and then like an hour. So I'm counting them with the ads.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So,
so
like,
so yeah. But yeah, but I do love the fact that finally Coco, the drama of Coco is out there. So nobody
yeah,
is clean anymore.
yeah. Like, I
Um
finally know who Coco are now.
yeah, right. We can now see them. We now see how they react to adversity. We will
Yeah.
see more in the next episode because of this kind of this blind side of a vote,
Yeah.
technically, right? Not just for Lindsay, but also for Gio, right? He was blindsided with the vote. He thought that he was leading the tribe, only to find out that he's actually on the outs.
Well, I don't remember, because, like, I admittedly didn't, like, um watch it again in
Mm.
preparation for the show, right? Like, I just watched it once this week. Um did uh did Gio ever mention that he was blindsided, or was he throwing a stray vote in case Lindsay played her shot in the dark?
Gio didn't say he was blindsided.
Okay,
Gio
all right,
didn't say
because
anything.
it could be either of those two things. It could be like a strategic vote where, like, in
Mhm.
case Lindsay played her shot in the dark, then it's not only him that is uh being voted out. Like, at least there could be a revote, like the what's it, the Romeo play, if you will, where, like, there's a weird random vote out there just to make sure that you're not the default, like, boot in case the shot in the dark works. Or it could just be that, like, nobody ever told him. So, like, I don't remember if that detail um
Yeah. He
was
he
ever
didn't say
in
that
the
he was
show.
blindsided, but the fact that it was his suggestion that was first shown in the episode, in that part of the episode. He was like, okay, it's Cassidy, just go with the flow. That's the plan.
Mm.
And then the whole idea, it was Carla who said that she doesn't like the fact that Gio thinks that he's pulling the
And
strings, right?
yeah,
And then it was her who flipped everyone and told them to vote. It was supposed to be Gio first.
yeah.
They were supposed to vote Gio out. And then Lindsay came up and became paranoid. That's why, again, they flipped it over to Lindsay. And I think it was also still Carla who like convinced everyone to, or either Carla or Cassidy, who convinced everyone to vote Lindsay. So yeah, it's showing us that Carla is the prime mover in Coco.
Yeah, which is really, it's really cool. Like,
Yeah.
and it's as you mentioned earlier, it would be really cool to see sort of Cody versus Carla kind of dynamic, right?
Hmm.
Like,
Now the
You know,
question is who will rise to the occasion from the Baka tribe?
let's
Who
go, Gabler.
Gabler, you Gabler. Or anyway, any
My
other
actual winner pick is Jesse because of the whole chain of the whole chain of like who lost. But I but more and more like I guess my meme choice is Gabler.
your mean choice?
Meme MEME.
Meme
Yeah,
choice.
my meme choice is Gabler.
Yeah, he was my pre-show choice because he really looked so cool. I'm gonna go into it in a later section why I've sort of started to waver, but I haven't chosen another one yet. So it's still actually I'm still on the Gabler boat. I'm
All
still on
right.
the Gabler boat. Any other highs for you?
Wait, now let me check my notes. Um, yeah, yeah. That's I
Mm.
like I like the floor is lava thing.
Oh, that challenge. The
Yeah, the
challenge.
challenge.
That was again continuing with what Martin said last time around in the council. The challenges for this episode, they weren't bathroom break challenges. They were
Yeah.
challenges that you wanted to watch. Right?
I mean,
Yeah.
there's still like not challenges that I particularly
Yeah, because they don't have they don't
like.
fall
You know?
within what you dreamed about getting back into the show, like having an actual theme that's connected
Yeah.
with the show, with where
You
they
know,
are.
dancing challenges, man. Dancing challenges. Bring
Dancing
back the
challenges.
dancing
Oh
challenges.
yeah, the challenge of who could copy the was that it? Or am I remembering from Amazing Race?
Well, you know, I'd like to see I'd like to see the challenges in Survivor be more Amazing Race and less Big Brother.
Mm, I get what you mean.
You know,
Yeah, yeah,
like
it's got to be it's got to be tied into the show. It's not yeah, Fiji, yeah, maybe or at the very least something that actually has to do with surviving. Right?
yeah, you know, everybody go out for the afternoon. First person to bring back an octopus wins immunity.
that that would not be a bad challenge.
Right?
That
And it
would not
ties
be a
in with
bad
the logo.
challenge. Yeah, yeah. Who knows? Who
Oh,
knows?
speaking of that, another like pinnacle of the season so far, highest
Mm,
of the high, was when it went out into an ad break. They had a
uh-huh.
shot of an octopus, like just
That
swimming.
is that is it. That is the connection to the logo. That is why we have an octopus or a kraken on the logo because of that shot.
The pinnacle of the season, seeing the actual octopus, because I doubt we're going to be seeing any other like octopus for the rest of the season if the
Who
last two
knows?
are
Maybe like
anything
the
to go by.
final. Remember the usual the obstacle course challenge with the final four or final five.
Yeah, the one that
Maybe
goes
they'll
out.
have like 8 stations, and it will be shaped like an octopus.
That would be amazing.
Right?
Let's put a pin on that. Let's put a pin
Let's
on
put a pin
that.
on that. Let's put a pin on that. Any other highs on your side?
Apart from the octopus, I don't think you know it can beat that.
All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and listen to
Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
Okay, for my highlights, I'd like to say the cooperation between the red tribe and the yellow tribe. Just to have Coco like lose the immunity challenge, that was nice. Speaking of nice, the win of the red tribe after being down 2 straight tribal councils. Now they're in the driver's seat. Now they got the reward win, immunity win. I guess their fates are going to be reversed this coming few episodes. Or not. I don't know. But things are looking up and up for the Red Tribe.
Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
Okay, and that is Martin, the man with a thought. So he pointed out more or less the same stuff that we did point out. Whether they are in the driver's seat, I'm not too sure. They probably, they turned a corner, gaining momentum. Whether it's something that will get them all the way through, we're not yet too sure about that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our lows. What's a low freeze?
Really?
Sorry? Palm fronds.
Really? Bro.
Dude, I don't know what he was thinking.
He wasn't.
Exactly. I mean, we live in a tropical country. I've had experience going to the beach, staying overnight at the beach. Never once would I have thought that palm fronds would help against the wind, against the cold. It would just be annoying and irritating because the leaves of the fronds are kind of irritating. They're sharp.
They have little spiky things.
Yeah.
That'll make you like itch and stuff.
Yeah. So you don't use palm fronds to protect against the cold. Oh gosh.
I mean, I guess that could be a high for the entertainment value, but a low for like, oh man, I was liking Gabler, like it's like really weird because we're getting such inconsistent characterization with Gabler, right? Like sometimes he's portrayed as being quite smart, as the last time when Ellie tried to like say, hey, your idol is,
your idol's done, right?
Your idol is done, and he's not like, and he didn't like fall for it as a big Tom might have, perhaps.
Or a DJ give his advantage over.
So there is, but then at the but in the same breath you get the palm fronds thing. So that's
palm fronds, and then you've got the whole not being able to work in camp because he's too tired. It's hard. Yeah, you're right. The characterization of Gabler is pretty erratic at this point.
So I mean, I guess that could be a low because I quite liked Gabler as a character in the previous episode. And then it's like it's quite erratic. There was that time that he was like, I'm gonna play my shot in the dark, like, huh? Wait, what?
He might, like what you said, he might be the most like coach. He might go on top of the mountain and meditate.
Or do like the Christ the Redeemer pose.
Yeah, right. I think it's also hard because I'm thinking in terms of the stereotypes. He's supposed to be the strong guy of Baka, right? There's no one else who's like physically imposing in Baka, right?
Sammy, maybe.
Oh yeah, but
he's the young guy though.
Like, he's the young guy.
He's got the young guy archetype.
But the thing with Gabler, he's both the archetype. That's a better term for it. He's the archetype of the strong guy, and he's also the archetype for the old guy. I think the combination of the two is not correct. Right?
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard.
But then last season's Mike was like a combination of those two archetypes as well, and it was amazing.
No, but who? Jonathan? Jonathan wasn't that old.
Mike.
Oh, Mike. Oh, yeah.
What's Hoboken Mike?
True.
It was only in the end. It was only in that last episode where he wasn't aware of the game that people thought he was playing that he should have had. But for the rest of the season, he wasn't shown as being anything like Gabler. If anything, he was a lovable curmudgeon.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't know. This the Baka tribe. It's a little confusing. The entire Baka tribe right now. I mean, you've got the strategic and intelligent Ellie. Right. And what's the name of the other girl on Baka?
Janine.
Janine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who for now I think is only riding on the coattails of Ellie.
Yes.
Yeah, but the guys actually, if you look at them, they're actually physically on basing on looks, they actually all three look strong.
Yeah.
Right. It's just that we were Wu Tu seems to be a high maintenance kid. And Sammy prefers to use strategy rather than strength, and Gabler is flaming out. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard. And we go back to what you said last episode, that it might end up with Gabler either quitting or having to need a medical evacuation from the game. Right?
Like perhaps that's why he's getting a dodo edit, you know?
Maybe.
I mean, hopefully not, right? But
yeah, I'm still rooting for the guy. I'm still hoping that he gets far. If only for the fact that we haven't had an old guy. It's been a while, or has there ever even been like the old guy archetype winning it all? I don't think so. Aside from that Professor Bob, I think. The guy who like was just really good socially. Yeah.
But just going back, Cody is from Iowa. Like his hometown is
so he's
Preston, Iowa.
Iowa.
The person from Idaho is Gabler. Or well, he's currently in Idaho. His residence is Idaho. Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. What's your first down?
Actually, that for this episode, that was my only down. Gabler, the fact that he's going on becoming on the outs in his tribe, and yeah, the inconsistent edit, I guess, of Gabler. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see because I'm rooting for the guy. I really, off that teaser from the end of season 42, I was already rooting for Gabler because of the way that he was shown in that teaser. But right now
that was the first episode, right? That was from episode 1.
Yeah, the mud on his beard. He looked so menacing. But as we're seeing right now, he thinks that palm fronds help you from the cold. Yeah. Oh,
I remember putting together, like, for Palm Sunday, like those palm art cross, like one of those cross.
Yeah, woven. Yeah. Like, yeah. I think
my fingers were in a bad way after that.
Exactly. But if you actually weave them, like what Cody did to make his hat, and if you have enough layers of them, that's when it becomes somewhat of protection against the cold, against the wind, because it's solid, not like as an actual frond with like spaces in between.
I really can't get over that.
Right. I mean, here in the Philippines, we have that. The banig. That's basically interwoven leaves.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
but no, not as like just that, a palm. Ah, Gabler. We want to love you, but it's so hard because of what you're showing. Hi. Any other lows on your side, man?
Just a kind of something that the Survivor podcasts were talking about, and Survivor Reddit was talking about, was how when Vessi wanted to like trade sushi for fruit, basically, how Jeff responded by making it sound as though you've always been able to do that.
Oh, I get it.
Right? Like, yeah, like as always, he can trade for a previous reward. Like, really?
But yeah, that was something new, and yeah,
so like, there's just it's just something that was pointed out. That changes the game quite a bit. It feels like they weren't expecting Vessi to win the reward. Right? They weren't expecting Vessi to win the reward because they didn't have their flint. And they were like, oh, darn, they won. What do we do now? And they're like,
you think that production coached Vessi to ask for a different reward?
They talked about it though, right? They talked about it with before. They talked about it amongst themselves before talking to Jeff, right?
Oh yeah, true.
So like, I'm not sure that was necessarily production, but in the same way that after there was a scramble after an immunity challenge, I'm pretty sure there was a little bit of a scramble with production after that. Like, they weren't expecting Vessi to win, and Noel was like, you know what, this seems rather unfair. Let me bring that up. And then production is like, huh, just like the bamboo thing, we didn't think of that. Like, just like getting the bamboo with getting the key through the hole in the bamboo from episode 1, we didn't think about that. What do we do? And then Noel was like, how about we trade? And they're like, a collective sigh of relief was sighed from like everybody in production, like,
they have thought of something.
They thought of something. So, I suppose the down is that it didn't seem thought out, which it probably wasn't.
Yeah, it was curious that Jeff all of a sudden said, yes, that's something that you can do. You can always trade for a previous reward, which for the life of me, I can't remember that ever being the case.
Yeah. And like, and if they traded their reward, wouldn't that mean that they also traded the camp raid? Because that was part of the reward.
True. But it's neither here. We don't really know what it was. But yeah. But I think that you're right. I think it was a scramble from production. They didn't think that Vessi was gonna win, but Vessi did win.
And like Survivor Reddit and the podcasts and whatnot are thinking that it's setting rather dangerous precedent.
True.
So does this mean that if there's like an okay basically, could they have traded fishing gear? Because that was the previous reward.
Exactly.
Like, guys, instead of 10 fish, how about like we just get the big fishing gear?
True.
That that Baka got last time.
That's right. And it also sort of puts the onus on production to make sure that the next reward is bigger than the previous reward, so that whoever wins the reward challenge will the point of choice of the challenge winner will be tougher, because are you giving up this big reward that we can't really quite use yet, or are we getting a smaller previous reward, right, that we can immediately use, right? But if the choices are equal, fruits, that's right, they got fruits instead of the fish, right? If the nutritional value is the same, then right, and fruit, like, wastes, I mean, it spoils longer, right? It takes longer to spoil compared to fish.
Sashimi.
Sashimi, but really they're not really,
which they made a point to like bring up, but so I guess that was a bit of a down.
That's true. I did until you pointed it out. I didn't think of that as a low, but it is a low. I would have to say that that's a low. What else on your side, man?
Lindsay, man. Lindsay going on. Come on, man. She was kind of being set up as somebody that was going to play hard.
Mm-hmm.
From the Coco tribe. It was, we were kind of seeing Lindsay and Carla being like the ones that were going to play hard, but I guess not.
I don't know, that her paranoia got the better of her. It's too bad.
Yeah. Oh, it's also funny, and this is just something that I realized now. There was that there was that initial connection from the Philadelphia people, from the Philly people. James and who is the other Philly person?
Oh yeah, I remember. That's from episode 1, right?
Yeah, from episode 1. Or was it? Yeah, like Philadelphia people got to stick together or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was sad that like Cody and Gio didn't have a moment there, like Hawaii, bro.
Yeah, I was expecting that. I was expecting that Gio would bring it up, or at least we'd see something like that, right? Especially since, I mean, Cody was all out with it. I'm from Hawaii. Yeah.
So I was hoping, but alas and alack.
Okay.
But that's just like wishful thinking and fan fiction at this point. So that isn't a down. That's just something that would have been cool.
Yeah, well, actually, when I first knew that both were from Hawaii, I thought that there was gonna be like just the same as you. There was gonna be a connection, at the very least at the merge, or there'd be something there that they'd help each other. Just like what you said, the Philly people had to decided to band together.
This is the first time, right? This is the first time that people from Hawaii are on the show.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So
here's hoping for like a Hawaiian hookup or something at the merge.
Yeah, later. Well, either after a tribe swap or at the merge, post merge. Something happens. We can only hope. Other lows.
That's really a pretty good episode.
All right.
Blindside at the end, which is keeping people on their toes. I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
In the constant in the constant quote unquote battle between Survivor editors and nerds on the internet. Like, it's this was a shot fired by Survivor production in a way.
Okay, so anyway, let's go to the man with the thoughts.
Martin's thoughts with Martin. Yeah.
The low light would honestly be how Lindsay got herself kicked out. Like, the plan is there. Like the great Keith Nail once said, stick to the plan. But you didn't stick to the plan. You just made a lot of issues. You made a lot of whatever. You've threatened your own tribe. That was dumb. That was so dumb, man.
Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
All right, that is it. That is Martin's thought. Lindsay, I think same thing. Lindsay's boot.
Sang, we're not gonna get to see her get her revenge on Vessi and Vaca, right? Like she promised revenge or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, that would have been great, you know, to see the wrath of Lindsay, but apparently
it's not going to come. All right. Let's go ahead to our predictions or stuff that we would like to see in the coming episodes.
First off, I'm surprised that Cody got the line.
Mm-hmm. Why? You didn't think it was in his personality to say something like that?
Yeah, like show no mercy. You know?
Yeah, guys, show me mercy.
Right? And it feels like even its appearance in the episode feels kind of like it was shoehorned in a way. Like it looks like it was something that was pulled out of the middle of a sentence. You know? Like he didn't say show no mercy as if to say that this is like the thought in its entirety. It was as though he said something like, you know, maybe we should go out there and show no mercy to the other tribe, and like they just cut it there, you know, to show no mercy. And like, yeah, but so yeah, I'm surprised that Cody got the line.
Cody, the title line. Yeah,
we were all way off. Way off.
Way off. I was kind of thinking that, well, going off of that, it would have been a more title line would have been in the same vein as Show No Mercy. It would have been nice to have like go for the jugular from Jesse, right? He said that was in a testimonial.
Yeah. That would have been good. That would have been a better title. Go for the jugular.
Yeah. And it's like a more wild phrase. It's a more survivory phrase rather than Show No Mercy, that according to just like what Martin said last episode is more Cobra Kai than Survivor. Shout out to Martin, we hope that we can see you again in the in future episodes with us here. Yeah.
So what I want to see is Vessi strong.
Vessi strong.
Because at this point it's an underdog story.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna see Vessi strong.
It seems that they've, as rocky as the state of Noelle is in that tribe, I think that her personality is strong enough that the guys are kind of scared of her. That they don't want to cross her as much. Yeah. So and yeah, she does have this connection with Dwight, and Dwight and Jesse are sort of mending fences, you know, giving it a second chance, giving their island marriage a second chance, and Cody is being Cody.
Yeah. So it's like I'm not sure what laws are in the various states when it comes to divorce, but I know that in the Philippines, for what we like to call relative divorce as opposed to absolute divorce, we call it legal separation. I had a teacher in law school that called it relative divorce. There is a mandated cooling off period there's a cooling off period mandated by the law, where like before the final decision for a legal separation comes out, the court will mandate a 6-month period. I'll have to ask my wife, but a 6-month period, I believe it is, to sort of cool off and see if cooler heads will prevail. So, you know, even if the legal separation papers were signed, it doesn't come into it doesn't uh, it doesn't become effective until after the legally mandated cooling off period.
And
I
both
wonder if
parties
there's
are
something.
still amenable to the.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not sure if I'm not sure if uh US law has something analogous to that. So, even though the divorce papers might have been signed already, it might not be in effect.
That's true. That's true. Right. So yeah. So there's mending of fences there. What I would like to see is them doubling down on the cross tribe alliance between Vessi and Baka. That would be for me. That would be so. That would be different. That would be different.
Mm,
They'd gang up on Coco,
yeah.
and there was sort of something there happening already, especially after even after the reward challenge. Sammy congratulated Vessi for winning as he was heading out, and then we had that in the immunity challenge. It was they helped Vessi helped Baka out, right? For me, it
Yeah.
would be groundbreaking, quote in air quotes, groundbreaking. If this happens, it would add a new wrinkle in the gameplay of Survivor and force Jeff and the production team to scramble a bit more, maybe try to figure out how to balance things off
Yeah.
once that happens.
This means we're gonna have to go back and watch the first 3 episodes again, just to see if like Vessi and Baka were giving each other the side eye in the other episodes, right? Like if they were sort of flirting with the idea of helping each other out until or if it was just something that popped up today after they were talking about taking Coco down a peg.
True, true, true. Well, yeah, we'll have to review the first 3 episodes to see.
Right, because it looks like Sammy really wants to cross tribal lines there.
Mhm.
It looks like it
And it was
looks like
Noelle who had
Noel really
that
wants to cross
journey with
tribal
Anna,
lines.
right? With who did she have a journey with? Uh,
Like I mentioned in a previous episode, they have difficulty like with white people.
but yeah, she was the one who had that journey, so she would have had the opportunity to create connections with people in Baka and Coco.
Yeah, she
Uh,
was with what's it though, right? She was with Owen, right?
oh, with Owen.
Right?
Mm,
It was Owen and um
was it
it
James
was Owen and I don't know, it was 2 guys, right? They were
or
like,
or
okay,
Ryan?
yeah. They were like, you're going to tribal tonight, you're gonna use it to take out
Yeah,
somebody big, whatever. Like,
yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, in general it seems as if the different tribes are a little more open to helping each other for some reason in this season. It's just that for this episode it was to the detriment of Coco.
Yeah.
uh, uh
But yeah, that would be really cool to see that happen again
mhm.
and to see what production does. Like, do they get to pick which course they're on in the team in the pre-merge phase?
What do you mean? Which side they're on?
Yeah, because
uh
like, or is that something that production determines? Because I know
I
that
Mhm.
come the merge, diba, they can more or less choose which pedestal they're going to stand and do that
Oh,
sort of
I think that they draw
thing
for
in,
that.
right?
They draw for positions, right?
Okay.
Jeff always says, let's draw for positions and
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
get
yeah,
this
yeah,
challenge started. Right. So I'm
yeah.
I'm not sure if they also draw for positions in the team challenges. But it's always seemed to be like whoever comes in last always stays closest to Jeff,
Hmm.
right?
That's something.
Whoever like went to tribal the previous night would be the last to come in, so that Jeff can say, and we have our first look at the new blah blah tribe, blah blah voted out of the last tribal.
I want to. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if, like, if production makes it a point to separate out Baka and or to separate Baka and Vessi and put Coco in the middle
In the
of the
middle.
two, if they have another one of those like running through stuff
Mm-hmm.
like immunity
And ending
challenges
with a
again.
challenge, ending with a puzzle challenge, which is like the standard already for all of their team challenges.
Yeah.
Go physical first and then do a puzzle in the end. Ah, that's a low, by the way. That they still have not changed that.
I really miss that like everybody, right? Dude is blindfolded and trying to stop big rattan balls from going into like a goal, and you have like somebody behind there yelling, saying, "Go to the left, go to the left."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or even like the whole what do you call this? Mud wrestling challenge or something like that.
Or like knock each other off the stick challenge.
Yeah. Right? Everything is now an obstacle course. Everything is now a race with a puzzle in the end. But okay, so that can count as something that we would like to see. We would like to see more of the old school challenges. Again, like the ones that I watched the Australian Survivor, and they have those, and they still have those. Yeah, I'd love to see that make a comeback in US Survivor. Yeah, we both would, right?
Well, speaking of, I just like to get it out there that I in browsing Survivor Reddit and listening to Survivor podcasts, I fully support the fans' idea of having an international Survivor crossover where you have like great players from Survivor South Africa on one tribe, great players from Survivor Australia on one tribe, and great players from Survivor US on one tribe, and have them go against each other.
That would be cool. That could be like
cool.
the new all-star season. Right?
Yeah, that would be great. And have it like 3 times longer or something. Because they have to show it in 3 different countries.
Yeah.
But I'm fully in support of that. Just saying, in terms of something
no
like
love for Survivor Philippines All-Stars. We stopped filming for the longest time.
The current English language Survivor shows.
But isn't there also like Survivor Israel, is it? Or no? Or is it just Survivor Africa and their location is Israel or something? Or I don't know, one of those.
I don't know, but like,
I don't know. Anyway, but yeah,
those
also,
are the big 3, right?
Yeah,
those are the big 3 English-speaking survivors right now. So
yeah. If that's an idea, and if we are correct that that the production is listening to fans, they need to feed the Ouroboros. Yeah, the fan ideas, they make it to the show, and which creates more content, which creates more fans, right? That's the way to do it. That's the way that Survivor has been doing it, and I hope that does come to fruition. Any other prediction or something that you'd like to see?
I guess we're going to see a hot and cold Gabler for the next couple of episodes. So he's going to be like really smart next week, and then he's going to be really dumb the week after that. Like that sort of thing. Because that's what we're being set up for.
Oh my gosh, Gabler. Whereas Cody is like the breakout star, Gabler is like the polarizing character. Well, while Cody is also sort of polarizing, it's just that Gabler's much more polarizing. Oh gosh.
Here's another sort of prediction or looking forward question sort of thing. So Baka is kind of divided along sex lines, right? Like you have Janine and what's her name?
I keep forgetting.
You have Janine
Ellie.
Ellie. You have Janine and Ellie, and then you have Sammy, Gabler, and Owen.
Mm-hmm. It was Owen who told Gabler about the girls rummaging through his pack, right? Or was it Sammy? Yeah, it was Owen, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but then Owen was part of the rummaging through.
Yeah.
So there's pretty much that division there, and Owen is kind of the one in the middle, as high maintenance as he is, right? Like he's the one that's kind of in the middle there because he was part of the looking through the bags thing, but he was also part of Sammy's like, I'm not really into like a boys versus girls thing, but we got to be boys strong, right? Like he's there. Who do you think he's going to eventually side with when push comes to shove?
When push comes to shove, I think that Owen is gonna, because I think that Owen feels underappreciated. So and we saw that in his testimonial. Like he feels like he's underappreciated. And so I think that it's gonna come down to who shows him trust, who who actually like brings him into the fold, and not just have him be one of the numbers, not just have him be the swing vote, you know. Or at least makes him feel that way. So yeah. So I'm not sure whether that's Ellie or Sammy, because those are the two movers. Those are the two movers right now. It's Gabler and Janine. They're following.
Yeah, it's setting up an Ellie versus Sammy. There's an Ellie versus Sammy sort of thing going on there, huh?
Yeah.
And Ellie has been the one that mentioned that Sammy needs more, or not Sammy. Ellie was the one that mentioned that Owen needs attention.
Mm-hmm.
So if she's going by her own advice, then
it might
Owen should end up siding with the girls.
Yeah.
And Gabler isn't making it any easier. Isn't doing the guys any favors. So sad.
So sad. So sad. I want to see Gabler get far in this game, but he's not making it easy for us to root for him. Oh.
You know what? I still have no idea about Coco, like how their tribe dynamic is.
One thing we're sure about is that Carla is the best strategic mind, I think, in that tribe.
Yeah.
Gio might be, but I think that he hasn't been able to create better social connections. He has a connection with Ryan. They're like the avocado boys, right? Was that, no, sorry, the papaya boys.
Yeah.
Right. James, I think, is in the middle. Cassidy, I don't have I don't know what she's up to. But for some reason Gio doesn't like Cassidy. Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
what I would like to know though, or at least find out, is if there is a behind the scenes edit to justify the Lindsay vote, or at least when that was solidified, because we didn't see it. We just know that, okay, maybe we should be considering Lindsay, but it was never solidified. We never saw it getting solidified. Even Lindsay said that they didn't get to finish talking because by sundown they were all still scrambling. It wasn't solidified yet. It might be a bonus content thing, no? To add to the ecosystem of online content for Survivor. But yeah, I would love to see that. Because it was baffling to me how Lindsay all of a sudden thought that she was being targeted, and she thought that she ought to be targeted, and she just did get targeted.
Yeah.
It was baffling to me how that transpired. I thought it was for sure gonna be Gio. I thought for sure. Yeah.
The secret scene for the week, at least the one that I'm finding on YouTube now is just them talking about eating a snake.
Talking about what?
Eating a snake.
So nothing like relevant to what actually transpired in the episode.
I don't think so. They usually don't put that in the secret scenes. They're usually just character moments.
Yeah, that usually only gets discussed after the season, right?
Yeah. So you know.
Yeah. Anyway, let's hear what our thoughts man. If there's an ass man, we have our thoughts man. Martin with
Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
As for predictions, well, it seems like the Blue Tribe may or may not fumble, but, you know, we can always go wrong. So just to be safe, I'm thinking the Yellow Tribe is going to go through Tribal Council. Why? I just have a feeling. Just have a gut feel. Throwing it out there to the universe. And that's it. Bye.
Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, I forgot. Who gets the line? Who gets the line next week?
What's the title of the next episode?
The next episode is called "Stop with All the Niceness."
Niceness.
Yeah. Stop with all the niceness.
I think it's gonna come up in an argument. Who is most likely to have an argument? Ooh. And it has to be, gosh, my mind is floating towards Gabler. Yeah.
Interesting.
For some reason. I think it's a Yellow Tribe thing. I think it's a Baka.
Yeah. My mind was there as well. But I was thinking it was going to be somebody telling that to Gabler.
Oh, true.
Like he's, you know, like the palm fronds thing. Like stop with all the niceness, man.
I actually, in my head, it's actually seeing Gabler saying that to someone like Owen. Like, because Owen's very, Owen, and it comes up in an argument. I think, I don't know. So so that's so 1.1. Zhao, you have someone. Who do you have as it saying it to Gabler?
Ellie.
So you're going back to Ellie because right, you had Ellie saying the show no mercy line. Okay, so Zhao thinks Ellie is going to say stop with all the niceness to Gabler. I have Gabler saying that same line to Owen. We'll find out next episode. What about you guys, mga kalaro? Who do you have saying the title line? And now let us go on to our castaways of the week. All right. Ja, who do you have as our... Sorry, this is our survivors of the week segment. Who do you have as the castaway of the week? Cody. Yeah,
I mean, like, you know, one and done, Cody.
Yeah, he got the title. He was pretty good at the reward challenge, right? And he was pretty good in the tribal raid. Yeah, I actually have him too. Yeah, for me, I also have Carla. As because again, I go back to my initial thoughts about her. I thought that she was going to be a purple, but she's showing that she's more than that, and she's not just there for the experience.
She's the one that's standing out in Coco.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead with our goat of the week.
Who lost the episode? I'm gonna say Gio. I'm gonna say Gio, and this is assuming that he was blindsided. and
Yeah.
not throwing a straight and not throwing a stray vote, right?
Yeah.
Because he was almost the one knocked out and
Mhm.
didn't know it,
Yeah.
and is very likely the next boot for
For
the
Coco.
next time that Coco goes to tribal,
Hmm.
which might be pretty soon if Baka and Vessi are working together,
Which we hope.
which we're
never
hoping
happens.
for.
True. I actually also have Geo. And it stems from the fact that yeah, we're coming off of 3 episodes of not seeing Coco. So we don't know their dynamics. They were our purple tribe for the first 3 episodes. And for this episode, he comes out saying that he is the one pulling the strings. He's the ringleader. And the rug just got pulled out from under him. Right? He was lucky that Lindsay got paranoid.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, you're right. It's him. He's got his head on the chopping block already. And it goes back to the first episode. Remember, it was him and Ryan who ran into the forest to retrieve the heavy items. He couldn't even bring the heavy item back to the tribe. Yeah. And he has this idea that he's the ringleader. I don't know. I'm not high. I'm not high on Geo. I'm not high on Geo. So we'll just go straight ahead to purple of the week. Who is your purple?
Oh man. Probably like Janine.
Mm-hmm.
Because, by virtue of the fact that like Coco finally got some screen time, I kind of know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna, for me it was a toss up between it was a toss up between Janine, Cassidy, and Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't really feel, I really didn't feel them very much this episode.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I mean, like
me, yeah, if forced to choose, I would actually choose Owen. Owen was the one I didn't quite feel for this episode. Right. This wasn't the episode where he was carrying the water, right? No, this wasn't.
No.
Yeah, so he was the if forced to choose, but in all fairness, whereas the purpling of Coco in the first 3 episodes was because we hardly saw. I mean, there was hardly any drama on their side, and they were really successful. Here, all tribes got represented or featured pretty well, right? Yeah, so it was hard for me to pinpoint someone or a tribe that was purpleable, but if forced, I would it would have to be Owen. I mean, if we're gonna have these kinds of episodes where we actually don't think that there was any purple, it's just that we make a choice, and
or we could say that they're just purpling the Asians.
Maybe, yeah. Janine and Owen, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So even Martin actually also doesn't have an entry for purple of the week. But yeah, before we close out the episode, I just have one question for you, Joe. Would you have gone with Cody and really taken the machete?
No.
Why?
That puts too much of a target on the entire tribe. Like I'm with Noel on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to keep your options kind of open come the merge. But then Noel was the one that was like, hey, Baka tribe, here's what you got to do. But like, I like the reasoning of like, yeah, let's not burn bridges yet, or that isn't even an apt metaphor, because like the bridges aren't even put up yet.
Well, maybe for Noel they are, right?
Yeah, no, because she went on an adventure. Well, that's something that we didn't talk about in
the previous
predictions,
council.
whatever. In the predictions and what we'd like to see, because Jesse apparently is going to be going to
on a journey.
Yes, yeah, he's going to Advantage Island, but I wouldn't know what to make of that.
Yeah.
just acknowledging herring. Just acknowledging that we see the red herring. And it's funny because Jesse is with the red tribe.
So do they just call it a herring? Just like, in China, they don't call it Chinese food. They just call it food.
Just call it food.
All right. Before we go astray any farther, I guess that is it for this episode. That is it for this episode of the Council of Titos. Now, if you liked this video, please hit the like button so we don't get voted off the channel. Also, consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so you'll get notified whenever we come up with new content on the Laro-Laro lang channel. Also, Jao, where else can they find us?
Pretty much everywhere you find your podcasts, though I would say Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify.
There you go. If you don't want to see our mugs and just like to listen to our beautiful voices while you're on the road or anywhere else, or while on a jog, doing your exercise, while you're on a journey, all right, you can go ahead and check us out wherever you get your podcasts. Just look for the Council of Titos. Anyway, for this channel actually also has other shows on it focused on sports and other similar things. This has been Chief Bisdak Joel Parcon, and
I'm Jao, reminding you that palm fronds make terrible blankets.
We hope that you can join us again on the council soon. Until then, stay safe, everyone. The Titos have spoken.